Hi everyone, welcome back. In this video, we will learn about customizing the numeric axis in a view chart. Look at this column series chart. We are comparing the runs of England and the West Indies between overs 15 and 20. Here, the numeric axis used in both the x-axis and y-axis of the chart to display the over-by-over score comparison, as bowling overs and runs are numeric values. Now, let me show you how to customize a numeric axis. First, I open an existing Vue application, where I have already added the Vue Charts component. I have imported the chart plugin from the Syncfusion EJ2 Vue Charts package and registered it globally inside the API vue.use to register all child directives globally. If you would like to know how to create a Vue app and add Syncfusion components to it, click the video link in the card above. You can also find a reference link in the description below. I save the application and run it with the command npm run serve. Here, you can see the default chart output with two axes, x and y, with no data points displayed. Next, I will show you how to customize the view chart with a numeric axis. I plan to display the England and West Indies cricket match data in a column series chart, so let me define two E-series definitions inside the E-series collection tag. Then, I import the column series from the Syncfusion Vue Charts package and inject it in the provide option. Next, I set the chart series type to column. I populate the data in the chart by creating an object variable, chart data, and assigning an array of objects with three fields named over, England score, and West Indies score within this data method. Then, I assign this object to the data source property and map the data source field over to the xName property, England score field to the yName property of this series, and West Indies score field to the yName property of another series. Notice here, I have used numeric value data in the x-axis, so I define a variable, chart primary x-axis, and set the value type property to double in order to display the over-by-over score comparison in the chart. Then, I set the x-axis title by defining the title property with an appropriate value. Now, I assign this variable to the primary x-axis property. I then define a variable chart title with the value England versus West Indies, and assign this variable to the title property. Along with this, let me add a title for the y-axis by defining the variable chart primary y-axis, and set an appropriate title to it. Now, I assign this variable to the primary y-axis property. Here, you can see the column chart with the numeric x-axis displaying the bowling overs as the axis label, the main title England versus West Indies, the x-axis title death overs, and the y-axis title runs. Alright, now let's look into the numeric axis properties one by one with simple scenarios. In this chart output, you can see the chart axis range and data source data range are the same. Let me show you how to display the chart with a custom range. To set the custom range, I need to add two options, minimum and maximum, within this chart primary x-axis variable. I have set the minimum range to 15, and the maximum range to 21, because the bowling overs in the data source values range from 16 to 20. Looking at the output, the chart axis ranges from 15 to 21. Like the minimum and maximum, you can also set a custom interval for the x-axis. The default interval is set to 0.5, so the chart axis labels display the values 15, 15.5, 16, and so on. Suppose I want to set a custom interval of 1, then I need to define the property interval with the value 1. Here, you can see the chart output, which shows the numeric axis with the specified interval, so the axis labels display the values 15, 16, 17, and so on. The next important property is label format, with which you can make the chart axis label more informative. For this property, you can set either custom label format or globalized label formats. If you want to learn more about globalized label formats, check out the documentation page linked in the card above. Now, I am going to set a custom label format for the axis. To set a custom format, within this chart primary x-axis variable, I need to add a label format property with a template value. Now, you can see the chart output displaying the axis labels with the custom values, 15th over, 16th over, and so on. Look at the edge axis label, it is partially visible because the axis label is placed outside the chart area. So, I need to move the edge axis label inside the chart area. To move the edge axis label, I define the edge label placement property with the value shift. Viewing the chart output now, you can see the edge axis label displayed inside the chart area. Okay, so far, I have shown the properties used frequently in the numeric axis. Next, I will move on to another property, range padding. Range padding means applying padding to the minimum and maximum extremes of the axis. In a numeric axis, there are 5 types of padding to choose from: none, round, additional, normal, and auto. In the first option, none, the minimum and maximum of the axis range is based on the data. In the second option, round, the minimum and maximum of the range are rounded to the nearest possible value, divisible by the interval. The next option is additional, in which the interval of the axis will be added to the minimum and maximum of the axis. For normal, the padding will be applied to the minimum and maximum of the axis based on default range calculation. In the final option, auto, normal padding is applied to the vertical numeric axis and there is no padding in the horizontal axis. Alright, let me set the range padding for the axis range. Here, I am going to show how to add the interval of the axis to the maximum and minimum, so let me set the range padding option to additional, within this chart primary y-axis variable. Look at the chart output, you can see the y-axis interval 5 is added to the minimum and maximum of the y-axis. Okay, let's recap what we have seen so far. We have seen how to customize the numeric x-axis of Vue Charts by customizing its value type and range padding. We also saw how to format the axis label. If you would like to see a working example from this video, you can download one from the GitHub link shared in the description below. I have also included a link where you can check if you qualify for our community license, which gives you a free license key for our entire Vue component suite. If you found this video useful, don't forget to click the like button and subscribe to our channel to watch more videos like this. Thanks for watching.